This morning we got a house wash. It was a pretty small house, but as you can see here, they've got a lot of organic growth on the sides. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the whole process of house washing. If this type of information is helpful, subscribe and check back for more content like this. So I spoke to the homeowner, and they did not prep a lot of the decks in the carport. They have a lot of personal items on there, so we're going to have to be kind of careful about how we do this. Generally speaking, I'll charge people extra for that, but she wants us to just kind of go around the areas like this porch here and underneath. So we're going to do this wall right here. We'll do the front. We'll do that other side that we just walked past, and then this guy right here. So this should be fairly quick and should look massively different. After you've spoken to the customer and done a walkthrough and made sure that you understand the property and any type of dangers or hazards, and taped up or bagged up anything that might cause electrical shock or leaking into the house, then you want to hook up your water source and lay out your hoses. What you see here is I've laid all the hoses out in a zigzag format. That way it's easy for me to pull hose around the house as I'm working. A lot of times I'll pull the hose all the way around and start in the back, but for this one I started in the front just because it was so nasty and I was trying to get this side done before the sun came up and dries out your chemical while it's on there. Another quick note on this one, I had to actually bag up the door. I use painter's plastic for that, and you just open the door, drape the plastic, and then close the door so that the plastic is covering the entire door, and that'll protect it from any type of chemical or overspray. So each section that I clean, I go treat bottom to top and then rinse top to bottom. You see a few different AC units that are inside this house that are sticking out of windows. In this case, they couldn't move them, so I had to go around them. Just be careful about the direction that you're spraying and make sure you're not getting spray into the vents or the window itself as you're doing that. So I'm slowing the video down at this point so I can kind of talk you through exactly what the steps are here. So step one, as you see me doing right here, is watering down all the organics. I want to make sure that the ground and all of the plants are fully saturated with water, and that way when I get to putting the detergent on the house, any of that overspray is going to fall on water and be immediately diluted. You'll see at the end that I'll also go back and post-rinse that to make sure that any chemical that did fall on plants is washed away and again diluted. So here you see me starting kind of at the bottom. I'm going up the left side here because of this downspout. So I start at the bottom, go up that side, and then I'll go all the way across the bottom back and forth, almost like you're painting, and working your way up. Generally, I will go as far up as I can with the fan spray tip, and then switch to the shooter nozzle when it gets too high to reach with the fan tip. This house is pretty short, so I was able to get most of it with the fan tip. I do like to hit gutters with the spray nozzle, the shooter tip, because it gets a little bit more force in there. There's a lot of organics that collect on the edge of gutters, and it helps to kind of break that up. What you can see here is just the chemical doing what it does. It's changing the color of the organics. You can see it killing them. You can see some of those organics coming down the side of the house, and I'm just kind of spot treating, and then I'll let this sit there. So the soak time on this side, because it was so bad, I ended up waiting, I believe it was about 5 minutes or so, and in that time what I'm doing is I'm prepping my hoses, I'm moving stuff around, I'm cleaning anything up that I'm done with, put it back in the truck. You're basically using any downtime to make your job easier at the end, your cleanup easier, so that you can close out with the customer and get on to the next job. So here, after just a couple minutes of talking through this, you can see the massive change in color from when we started to right now. And this is when you know that it's time to rinse, is once all the organics have changed color, then you can come through and get that off with a lot of water. And you don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it. You want more volume than pressure. So when I switch over to rinsing here in just a second, you'll see that I'm making sure that there's a wave of water coming down, and it's going to be situationally dependent. I use an M5 twist nozzle so that I can change from the shooter tip that you see here to more of a fan tip that you'll see as I rinse down this house. So I start up at the gutter line. Make sure you get a good direct spray on those gutters to dislodge any of that black nasty organics that's been up there. And then you just work down the house. This house had shutters on it, and so you have to spray inside those shutters or behind them. But I had to be careful to go around this window because it's got an AC unit in it, and so the angle had to be shooting away from the window opening. So if you run into this type of stuff, just be extra careful. Better safe than sorry. If you feel like you're getting water somewhere where it shouldn't be, then stop. You can always do that part by hand if necessary. So the rinsing, when we've got siding like this is a vinyl siding, but any slat siding like this, I like to go with the grain. So I start at the top and I rinse all the way across, and then just kind of do it like a typewriter. And that way you know that you don't miss anything. Sometimes you'll have to change this just depending on what's around. You might have bushes in the way, you might have trees in the way, you might have a section that's troublesome, kind of like these shutters where you gotta kind of go up and down a few times and dislodge some stuff and rinse that all the way down. But for the most part, you want to do what you're seeing me do here, which is just go from one side to the other, get a good wave of water to rinse all of that dead organic material off, all your suds off. And you want to keep doing that until you don't see any type of bubbles and you're just seeing clear water running. That's going to do two things. One, it's going to tell you that all of your detergent is off. And two, it's also going to make sure that everything is diluted on the ground so that you don't end up damaging plants. So the rest of this is just rinse, rinse, rinse. Rinse more than you think you're going to need to rinse. Try to stay away from any vents, like you see this large vent at the bottom. I kind of go around that for the most part and just let water fall over it and don't put pressure into it. All right, so we just finished up this house here. As you can see in the beginning of the video, it was really, really nasty. They had lots and lots of algae, organic growth on the sides. This looks absolutely gorgeous now. Straight white, the way it's supposed to be. This lady had a lot of plants, so we had to do a lot of pre-wetting. It's kind of a warm morning, so pre-wetting and a lot of post-rinsing here. One of the most frustrating parts was back here because she didn't take anything off of her deck, so I was still able to get the gutter line up here and then the staircase, but she's got a lot of sensitive stuff up on the deck, so I didn't really touch a whole lot of that. And then getting around this bush was a lot of fun too, but we got it anyway. This wall over here was probably the worst, maybe the front, but this wall cleaned up really, really nice right here. And another thing that's tough is getting around stuff like these AC units that they can't take out. It's an older couple, but we got it done. And also in here we ended up having to do just a water rinse because they got a lot of stuff in here. So this was kind of a unique one. It took about an hour and 15 minutes, and I think it looks awesome.